He heard a sound of young lady getting down from the Rolls Royce. She asked, "Are you hungry? Are you depressed? Come, I'll take you to my home today and take care of you." She took him to the house. When she entered the house, butler opened the doors of the car and she ordered the servant to take care of him, to give him the food, hot water bath, and all the comfortable arrangements to stay. He had everything. Suddenly, in the midnight, he saw the young lady is walking into his room, inquiring, "How was the food? Nice. How was the stay? Perfectly all right. Then why are you not sleeping?" The man didn't reply. She asked, "Oh, you want company? Just move over." The man was overjoyed and moved over and rolled in the Thames River. If you look the story a little bit, many of you have missed. He was dreaming all the way. All the way he was dreaming the whole scenes. Just as you missed now this story, you missed many things in your life because most of you were dreaming. Psychologists, modern day psychologists, they say 100%, 100 things if 100 things happen around us, your mind captures only 2%. Your mind grasps only 2%. In most of our life, in most of the time, we almost spend our life in somnambulism, sleeping, half asleep. Something is thought and something is done. Now, if you would have listened with a little attention, you would have got the story. Hardly I could see only 20% got the story. Just 20% could catch the story. If you miss even one line, you will miss the whole story. In our life, we miss so many things just by dreaming. The man who was dreaming, who was continuously dreaming, has missed his whole life. Just out of overjoy, he rolled into the Thames. The same thing we are doing. We connect the unconscious and the superconscious and the conscious. You have 3 layers of your existence. One is conscious, the layer in which you are living. It is called Jagrat. The second one is Swapna. Of course, the Swapna state has no equal word in English. We may call it as subconscious, but Swapna state has no equivalent word. There are many Sanskrit words which has no equivalent word. The word dream does not mean Swapna. Please understand. Swapna means, don't think the word dream. The dream means whatever you dream in the night is called dream. But the Swapna means not only the night dreams, even the day dreams. So the word Swapna means something more than dream. You understand it? Just the Sanskrit meaning, that's enough. The first thing is conscious, the body with which you are living. Second thing is Swapna, the mental body, your imaginary body, with which you create imaginations. The third thing is superconsciousness. They say beyond the sarira, Actually, all the three are not exactly clear in our system, in our being. It overlaps on each other. That is why you get many times confused between the dreams and the reality. You get many times confused. In the dreams, you do not feel where you are or what you are doing. Your consciousness is lost. The same way, in the wakeful state also, many times, most of the time, you are just taken. You don't lead, as I was telling you yesterday, the conscious living. Most of the time, we are just taken. We are flying, flying, flying. The man who decides to live his life consciously starts walking the path of meditation. Even in the spirituality, we have thousands of illusions. If you read continuously, after some time, you get the feeling that you know everything. For a long time, if you read, after some time you get the feeling that we know things. That's the greatest danger a man can have. Greatest danger a man can have. There are two words in Sanskrit. One is called Paroksha Jnana, another one is Aparoksha Jnana. Paroksha Jnana means the jnana, the knowledge acquired from the books and from listening from others, the great masters, other teachers, gurus and the acharyas, by reading the scriptures and the sutras. That is called Paroksha Jnana. Aparoksha Jnana means the thing which has become your experience, the thing which has become your solid life. That is Aparoksha Jnana. Ramakrishna says beautifully, Paroksha Jnana is something like a knowing about the milk. Aparoksha Jnana is drinking the milk. There is a vast difference. Not only difference, diametrically opposite. Sometimes the Paroksha Jnana and Aparoksha Jnana are diametrically opposite. But by continuously reading and the listening, we start entering into the imagination. We start thinking that we know or we achieved. Patanjali is the first master and the last master who lived on this planet Earth, who made the whole spirituality as a science. Till Patanjali and after Patanjali, there was no one who made the whole spirituality as a science. For a long time, the enlightenment was thought as an accident. It can happen to anybody at any moment. It may happen to anybody at any moment. You cannot do anything for the enlightenment to happen. You cannot do anything in that line. That was the concept till the time of Patanjali. Patanjali is the first master, I can say first scientist, who made the spirituality in a clear path. Patanjali is the first man who made the navigator. Patanjali is the first man who made the navigator. When we came in that car, it was so accurate, so perfect. Exactly it guides that navigation system. Friend, but the navigator, how much it helps and it guides, just like that. In the spiritual world, the first and the last navigator ever done in the spiritual consciousness is Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. It is a simple navigator. Nothing more need to be told about the Yoga Sutras. The man who is totally logical in the field of illogical. Spirituality is always considered as a field where bhakti and the illogical counts. The devotion does not know heart does not know anything of logic. People go and ask Meera, how you have such an ecstatic love for Krishna? What is happening to you when you chant the Krishna's name? When she chants the Krishna's name, she is just ecstatic. She is already in the ecstasy, dancing, whirling, just spinning around. People ask her, what is happening to you? She says, I do not know. I feel the love, ecstasy, only that much I know. I do not know. What happens? Ramakrishna was asked, how do you feel so much of love and the deep attachment to the Krishna, to the Kali? He says again, I do not know. These are the great people who have become enlightened, who achieved God, but they could not make navigation or navigating system. They achieved, no doubt. They are embodiment of God, but they could not make a navigation system. Patanjali is the first, foremost, at least from my experience, last man who made the navigation system in the spiritual world. If you take which turn, where you will meet what experience will be waiting, and how to deal with that experience, and where you need to take the left turn, where you need to take the right turn, where you need to just wait silently, or where you need to take the aggressive steps, everything inch by inch, almost inch by inch. Patanjali has tried hard and become successful to replace a living master by a book. I can say he is successful by creating Yoga Sutras, the great book ever written on the spiritual field. This is the book of books. From this, all the books of the world originated. People may say, why Swamiji, Gita is here? Of course, Gita is here, no doubt. But there are few things to be understood. Gita speaks on the goal and on the path. Yoga speaks even the dangers of the path. You see, Gita is useful in American roads. If you know the goal and the path, it is enough. Nothing more is necessary. You are sure that there will be no pitfalls in the road. If there are, you can sue naturally. You have all the security systems. You see, Gita is useful in the American roads, where there will be no pitfalls, no changes, no alterations. But the roads like Indian roads, the places like India, any day roads may change. Any day, any rain can destroy the whole road. A simple flood can change the whole route. Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, the sutras of the Patanjali, is for the mind, for the person who can create, who can face all sorts of pitfalls. Gita says about the path and the goal. Yoga Sutra says path and the goal and the pitfalls which you can face, which you may face. Every siddhis, about every miracle powers, Gita speaks. The Yoga speaks. Patanjali speaks on every miracle power, by which you get what power, what will be the effect, what will be the side effect, what will be the after effect, how to go beyond. The navigator, a spiritual navigator, a total spiritual navigator is Yoga Sutra. The first scientist who is so logical. Today, in the modern world, there are thousands of great masters, enlightened people, who teach religion in the language of science. Today, the whole world, wherever you go, any country it may be, if it is spirituality, you will see only the Indian gurus, Indian masters. It is not that other religions have not produced the master. There are many masters, and half of the humanity is Christians. And more than 20% is Islams, Muslims. 10% are Buddhists. But go throughout the world, if you see, spiritual seekers always turn only towards the Indian masters. Indian masters are the people who are ruling the world. India is the country which gives Jagat Gurus. Somebody was telling me, Swamiji, why the India is degraded so much? But still somehow it is surviving. I was giving the reply, as long as it produces Jagat Gurus and supplies to the world, it will never die, it can never die. India is alive just because it is producing Jagat Gurus and giving to the world. Any amount of revolution, any amount of evolution, any change, let it take place. Any change, let it happen. Either Russia is communist country or a democratic country or a capitalist country, we don't bother. But if you see the spiritual seekers, they will be turning towards the India. You can always find a group of people chanting Hare Rama, Hare Krishna or Shiva Rama. The Indian masters have invaded, I can say the word, invaded around the world. India is the country most invaded. India is invaded. Last 3,000 years, more than 300 groups have invaded India, according to history. In last 3,000 years, 300 groups have invaded India. India is the most invaded country and never went out to invade other countries. You can't find a single incident that Indian kings went outside the boundary to invade other countries. No. India is the most invaded country and never went out to invade others. But here, today, in the modern world, you see, simply the whole world is getting invaded by the Indian masters. You can see the list. You can see a big, I think only 10% is here. I can say only 10% are here. 10% is here. They are just flooded. World is just flooded by the Indian masters and Indian gurus and the swamis. And they challenge the scientists. They just challenge the scientists. They just challenge the educated people. The great intellectuals, the great scientists. Just everybody is challenged face to face. There was a time when Vivekananda landed in America. That was the time people used to feel shy to claim themselves as Indians. Vivekananda himself has to use a different color robe. Vivekananda himself, there is no other way. He has to use different color robe. Of course, just a few months ago, in American embassy, one Swami went to have a visa. Somebody said, Swami, if you change the color of the dress, they may give visa. Then Swami said, let me get a 1 week visa, I'll change the clothes of their people. I'll change their people's clothes. And he did. That's the beauty. Whole world is just being flooded by the Indian gurus, the Indian masters. Whole world is just turning towards the Indian spirituality, of course, I am not boasting anything. Please don't misunderstand, don't mistake. Every society has given something to the world. The American society has given the social freedom. Germany has given the medicines. Egypt has given the political culture. India has given the spirituality. Every culture has given something to the world. Indian gurus are just flooded around the world. Indian gurus are facing the scientists. How and why? How? Because the spirituality is totally an illogical field. Spirituality is always considered as a field of illogical. But all the logicians, the great scientists are just faced, conquered, argued. They just argue in the language of science, in the language of logic, in the language of mathematics. How could spirituality be brought in the language of science? I tell you all, Patanjali is the first man and the last man who brought the whole spirituality in the language of science. If today world is being invaded by thousands of spiritual masters, thousands of Indian gurus, Patanjali is the first person, Patanjali is the only one and only reason who has given the scientific explanation for the whole spiritual scriptures. Just because of Patanjali, the whole world is getting spirituality.